Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar brought to you by Bursa Malaysia and managed by our company LifeChamp. Today, our webinar title is Islamic Estate Planning and Hibah Concept to CDS Account Holders. So welcome, everybody. My name is Shane Chu. I'm the moderator for this session. Now, Islamic estate planning is a crucial aspect of financial planning, especially to Muslims. So today we are going to examine this topic that is very complicated. And today we are very honored to have our guest speaker here, Nurin Hamid, to share with us about Islamic asset planning and Hibah concept to CDS account holders. As usual, before we begin, disclaimer, whatever we share in this session is only for educational purpose. So in no way that I give any recommendation for you to do any financial investment decisions. Okay, so if you decide to make any investment decisions, you're 100% responsible for all your investment risk. Allow me to briefly introduce our speaker today. And she graduated with a bachelor degree in actuarial science from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Over 15 years of experience in the banking and finance industry, and she has also developed a strong foundation in financial planning and investment management. Currently, she holds a capital market services representative license from the Securities Commission and is a licensed financial planner. She's also a seasoned trainer and speaker. She designs and delivers customized training programs on topics related to financial planning, Islamic estate planning, and other financial instruments for public and private sector organizations, as well as higher institutions. So without further ado, let me invite the speaker, none other than Nurin Hamid. Hi, Nurin.
Yeah,
how are you today?
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, good evening. Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yes,
I'm
thank you,
good.
Nurin.
Okay, I'm good. How's everyone? Hope everyone is actually okay. I just okay, Shane. Can I start? Because
Sure.
I think
You may take over.
you just don't have I mean we don't have so much time, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think most of us most of the Muslim and also non-Muslim know about the Islamic estate planning is quite different from the non-Muslim estate plan. So this is the main topic that I'm going to go through with you. And most of you might, I think most of the Muslim here knows that we are actually abide to the Fara'id. So let me walk through you through this process as fast as I can, and then we end this session with the Q&A. So anyone have a question, we just consolidate it until the end of the session, and I'm trying to answer as much as I can. If not enough time, then you can actually email to me. Okay, this is actually I would like to introduce what is the Islamic estate planning. Is the process of the planning, managing, and distributing Muslim individual assets according to Islamic principle and values for both during and after their lifetime. It is also to minimize, the main part is to minimizing the financial and the emotional burden on the surviving family members. Okay. Key characteristic of Islamic estate planning is the emphasis on the principles of Sharia, governed by all aspects of Islamic life, including wealth management and inheritance. And the rest of it, the decision of the distribution of the estate planning, what we usually call harta pusaka. Estate planning is actually perancangan harta pusaka is actually based on the principles of Fara'id, and the beneficiaries can also do muafakat agreement, which means whatever they consolidate, I mean they what would to combine the agreement by all the Fara'id beneficiary, they agree, then they can actually not to follow Fara'id is okay, but must be agreed by all the beneficiaries. I think this one is very clear to all Muslim. Okay, the tools in Islamic estate planning is actually we have wasiyah. It is actually will or wasiat, we call it hibah. Okay, I think wasiat is actually first the primary purpose of the wasiat is actually to you have to appoint or designate a trusted executor or administrator while you are still living. So you appoint one executor to manage your estate plan when you are no more in this world. And the second one, most of the important thing is you want to give not more than 1/3 of your wealth to your non-beneficiaries or other entities, like maybe you want to donate to the NGOs or you want to give to your adopted child. Okay, then the second one is Hibah. Hibah is a very, very famous element and a component I think most of us know. So I will go further to this later part of this session. Okay, matrimonial asset is like harta pencarian. Okay, the legal agreement between husband and wife. Trust is actually amanah, asset to be managed by trustee and distributed according to your wish. Okay, the owner wishes. And then wakaf. Okay, I think this is the main 5 main things. Okay, maybe some of you might heard about infak, sadaqah. That is part of the estate planning tools, which sometimes we can actually put it in our will, or you want to give it while you are still alive or when you are no more in this world. Okay. Okay. The common documents that used by corporate is trust and wakaf, because this this is the trust when amanah is actually used by some of the organization or what we call a legacy, but family legacy. They form a company, then they do a trust to manage their asset, the holistic of their asset. Okay. And then wakaf is also used by the corporate when when the donor of the property want to wakaf certain asset of their property and managed by the certain authority that is actually authorized to manage the wakaf. Okay. Okay, the next session is the comparison between Islamic estate planning and non-Islamic estate planning. Okay, Islamic estate planning is basically how we distribute the asset, and then we also have the executor or administrator that is appointed after we die. Who are the person or who are the entities who is going to manage our asset, and then we are bound to the regulator and act in Malaysia. Okay, this is part of the act, Islamic Estate Planning in Malaysia, Bank Negara, Sharia Council, Sharia Advisory Council, and there are certain acts in this matter to regulate the asset. For non-Muslim, they also have the basis of the inheritance law, and also they must have also executor and administrator that appointed by the beneficiaries or the person who deceased before they die. Okay. These are actually the types of document tools are commonly used in estate planning for non-Muslim. Will, trust, and also gift deed document. It's like gift is like we Muslim we say it hibah. Okay, it's a gift. Okay, this is basically the criteria, the comparison, which is actually in brief. Okay, we can actually compare it based on Islamic estate planning and also non-Muslim estate plan. The basis and inheritance, we follow Faraid law, and then the will, we call it wasiya, and another one is will for non-Muslim. Trust document we also have, and non-Muslim also have. Hibah document for Islamic estate planning is Islamic estate plan is a hibah. Non-Muslim is gift deed. Wakaf is actually wakaf, and then non-Muslim is charitable trust. Asset cover is both movable and immovable asset. So distribution of asset follows faraid. And we can also follow muafakat. Muafakat means the agreement by all the beneficiaries, by faraid when beneficiaries. We call it waris faraid. And then a non-Muslim, we follow the will. Executor is, of course, that it is possible and it is must actually. And then regular acts is actually as what I have already mentioned before. Okay, for the introduction of Islamic estate administration and distribution is when a person die, how our estate plan is administered and distributed. Okay, this is how it goes. This is just a text. This is what I mentioned before. It's a faraid. So for Muslim, we can actually follow faraid, or the agreement between the faraid beneficiaries and how they want to distribute the decease of the asset, the asset that being left by the deceased. Okay, this is actually the flow for Islamic estate plan. When someone die, the first thing that they have to do is settle their funeral expenses. The second one, make sure that all the debt need to be settled by the waris or the beneficiaries. Okay, is whether the debt is the most important part is fidyah, zakat, badal haji, and banks debt, human debts, and any debts that you can name. If someone claim the deceased has owed them something or something like that, you need to check whether it is true or not. And then another one, the third step is the deceased has this type of document. They have wasiah, they have wakaf, or matrimonial asset or trust. If they have this and it is legal and documented, you need to settle this first. Okay, the administrator or the beneficiaries that appoint the administrator or the executor need to settle this first, this element of document first. Later on, okay, then only balance of the asset is distributed via faraid distribution. Okay, they need to go the 3 steps first, then only the faraid beneficiaries can claim the rest of the asset. Okay, basically faraid law is in Quran, is in Surah Nisa ayat the 12 until 14, if I'm not mistaken, but you can actually check that. And then it's in hadith. So faraid law is actually basically the one that we Muslim follows. Okay, understanding the distribution of faraid. Okay, someone deceased, they have two options. They have two what we call categories, sorry. One with children and then another one is without children. So these are basically what the distributions looks like. I'm not going to go through details on this part because most of us knows, and then if we want to discuss further on this, we need to have another session. So it's a very I would say for Muslim it's not really complex. It's actually we need to know, but this is basically the component of distribution of the faraid. Okay, son, whether you have son, you have daughters, without sibling or with siblings, and then you have son, you have you have children or no children, these are basically the distribution of faraid. Okay, the next one will be, okay, you have to understand the primary beneficiaries of hires are husband, wife, father, mother, son, and daughter. If they don't have this, then we go to the secondary hires, which is actually substitute hires, grandfather, grandmother, grandson, or granddaughter. So the next, if they have this, they have to go through the secondary hires is actually the full sibling, means that you have the same father and your same mother, and then uterine sibling, same mother, different father, consanguine siblings, same father, different mother. Okay. Then the next one is actually, if they don't have this secondary beneficiary, then they go through the full uncle, and then the same father with the same uncle with the same father. Okay. And then if they don't have this beneficiary above, then it goes to Baitul Mal. Okay. Okay, let me tell you that Muslim administration process is based on two law, civil law and also Islamic law. Okay, and then we have, for non-Muslim, we have a civil law. But okay, this is what I want to share you. Testacy. What is testacy? Testacy is the person who die with will or wasiat. And intestacy is the person who dies without will or wasiat. So they need to get a letter of administration. So let me show you the process. Okay, this is actually happening, and it will be facing by both Muslim and non-Muslim in Malaysia. Okay, this is what I'm going to share you. If the deceased is actually has a movable asset less than 600,000, it will be based on they will have to go to the Amanah Raya Berhad. So for the next step, if they have a fixed asset, they have a fixed asset, they need to go to the small estate office. So, but the asset need to be less than 2 million. Okay, above 2 million movable and immovable asset, they need to go to the High Court Civil. Okay. Okay. Next one is actually, okay, this is how it goes when you have will and you don't have will. You die, we die, I die. Let's say I don't have, I die, definitely my asset is frozen, definitely. Okay. So when I don't have a will, this is what happened. Full or partially intestacy, which means I don't have will, but I have Hibah. Say maybe I have Hibah, or I have will but not fully covered by all to cover my the whole asset of my property. So this is what my beneficiary have to go through. This is what before it the asset being liquidated, they need to go through the application of a letter of administrator and the faraid. They need to get the faraid cert at the Sharia court. Okay. Okay, and then consent in writing and from the beneficiary to appoint one administrator that will actually go through all the process. So make sure that all your faraid beneficiary agree to appoint one administrator. If they don't agree, it doesn't work. Okay, that is why some of the estate plan in Malaysia for Muslim still not settled until today, and they are in million. Okay, because the not agreement between each other. You know, the next one. Okay, these are the process. I'm not going to go through too details on this. This is actually another part of the legal documentation. After the administrator appointed, application for the 2 administration bonds, and then only the letter of administration granted, then only actually the asset is actually liquidated. When you have a will, you appoint, when I have a will, before I die, I appoint one administrator to make sure that my asset will be go through accordingly without any hassle, without having to ask all my beneficiaries whether who is going to be the administrator. I decided before I died. So I make that will to make sure that my beneficiary don't have to go through that hassle. So when I have a will, this is what application of grant for probate, and if the Sijil Faraid or Faraid certificate is needed, then only my beneficiary or the executor get it for my beneficiaries. Okay. So, but some case we don't need a Faraid because it's already mentioned in the will that who is my Faraid beneficiaries. Okay, and then the rest of it, okay, the probate grant asset free. So you have to think about this, whether you want your beneficiary to go through the hassle or otherwise. Okay, I'm not going to go deep on this matter. We proceed first. Okay, the concept and the importance of CDS account holder to, for you to, okay, let us share a little bit of the Hibah concept. Hibah is actually a Sharia perspective of a gift in kind. Okay, a gift in kind is an asset. Okay, the donor is, I'm not going to mention about in Arabic terms because we just have a layman terms. Okay, the donor, which means I have a asset, I become the owner. So the recipient can be my own beneficiaries or other things. Let's say I want to give my adopted child, so the recipient is still my is actually he or she who is my adopted child can be the recipient. So, but make sure that so they have a four element requirements for Hibah. You have a donor, you have this recipient, you have an asset, and of course the agreement. But the thing is, you have to make sure that the asset is actually halal, is existing, and then you have that full ownership of the asset. If you say that you have a house, but the house is not yet your name, it cannot be Hibah. Okay. Okay. The rest. Okay. Next slide will be. Okay. This is one thing that most of us need to know. Hibah is not revocable. It's not revocable. If you have already made a Hibah to give to someone, you cannot revoke and take it back. Okay. Unless you as a parent, you give to your own child, you can take back. You can, alamak, I think I don't want to give my son, I want to give my daughter this Hibah. You can actually revoke. And another one is actually a grandfather. If I have a cucu, I have a grandson, I am a grandmother, I want to give my granddaughter and I want to take it back, I can. But otherwise, no. That means if you have Hibah something to your mom, you want to give something to your mother, you want to give something to grandfather, that one you cannot take back. But if your grandfather want to give you something, they can take it back. Okay, that is just the rule. I cannot answer for that. Why? Because it's in hadith. Okay. So before you make Hibah, you just have to be careful. I mean, be careful and think deeply. Is these things you really want to give to someone other than your own child or own granddaughter or grandchild? Okay, this type of Hibah is actually just normal. A noble Hibah is absolute Hibah. That means you have a a house, you give that house while you are actually alive, then you terus tukar nama, you just change the name to your daughter or something, maybe you give to your sister, then that one is called absolute hibah. That means is no point of taking it back unless your sister want to give you back. Then it's a different things. Okay, trust hibah is usually managed by the trust company. Okay, okay, conditional hibah is the most famous one. It's like you make a hibah, but with a conditional term. It's up to you because you are the owner of the property. You can actually condition. You can point a certain condition to the recipient. Doesn't matter. So there are certain there are basically two hibah types. Conditional hibah is actually the one is actually the ownership set a limit, set a limit to the recipient, whatever limit or whatever fixed or whatever terms to the recipient. And then another one is actually the donor is actually telling that when I die, these are your property. So that is one conditional hibah. Conditional hibah is actually famous for whoever doing takaful, that is actually the conditional hibah, because the hibah is only take place when the the owner of the takaful or the owner of the insurance is actually dies. So the proceeds and also the benefit, the coverage is everything goes to the hibah recipients. Okay, this I have already gone through. The asset, the requirement of the asset need to be halal, full ownership, and the asset is transferable at the time of the hibah is at the time of the asset is exist, which means you haven't buy a land, but you want to hibah. You haven't buy that a land, but you have already hibah that a land to someone. It is not possible because you have no ownership, and then the hibah, the land is not transferred to you anymore. I mean, not yet transferred to you. So make sure that you know what is actually you want to hibah. Actually, to be frank, from my experience, I have already seen hibah is done by a lawyer, was rejected by the court. So it is actually happening. So make sure that you know what you are doing. Okay, make sure you get the right person to advise you for this type of things. Okay, okay, I have already mentioned this. The common use in hibah in Malaysia is the context of takaful products, because we are using the conditional hibah. And then another one is actually if you open a savings account for savings account in bank, Islamic bank, do you notice that end of the year or maybe half yearly you get a little bit of profit, and then they wrote there hibah, something like that. So this is actually one of the concept of hibah. It's like a profit sharing, something like that, that the bank is actually giving the account savings account customer, or account banking account, what, oh my, twisted tongue, okay, sorry. The bank is giving the customer, whoever saved money with them, some profits as the profit sharing and as a hibah, but at their discretion, okay, of course. And the hibah is also used for investment product. As the agreement, whoever who will be getting the proceed of the benefit of the investment, let's say unit trust. There are some unit trusts are doing the hibah already, and then tabung haji is actually also doing hibah. And then ASP is now, I was told it was actually now doing, whoever want to do hibah, And then, of course, not forgetting Bursa Malaysia for the CDS account holder. I have clients who is doing this also, and they are happy and they are can sleep well now. And then several investment like I said. Okay. Okay, these are some of the goal. Hibah is used by most globally in financial industry in Malaysia, in the world, other than Malaysia, Emirates, Indonesia, Saudi, Brunei, even Singapore, United Kingdom, United States. But United States is still USA is still it's a growing industry, but they are still studying something like that. So I don't have that well-versed information on the US, but I was informed this kind of things is happening now, is growing. You know, people are actually interested in the Islamic financing, Islamic finance. Okay, okay, this is what I am actually advising whoever have a CDS account, go and do proper hibah with usually for CDS account, we call it hibah trust, which means you do a hibah, but so far that I know, you need to have a trust company who is actually doing the hibah. So they will actually execute according to what you have already planned to for the balance of your shares and everything in your CDS account. Okay, there are two ways of it actually depends on the recipients, because when you, let's say I do hibah, I put all my children inside inside my hibah names. So when I die, they can ask the trust to make sure they sell off all the shares inside and take the cash and proceed from the disposal shares of the CDS accounts, or if they have a CDS account, they transfer to their account. There are two ways, and I'm doing this for my customer right now. And then so the decision of the shares and how they want to have it is after they die. If let's say he or she die, and then the share is only a few, then it's up to the recipient how they want to manage to take the proceed, the shares in the CDS account. So that is actually for the CDS account is actually basically same as the other hibah that I am actually doing, but you need to have a proper advice and from the trust company, and then maybe from the estate plan specialist. Okay, you can actually talk to the lawyer, but make sure that all the legal documents is actually not having problem like the one that I have already seen, the hibah, which is not what we say is actually rejected by the court. Okay. Okay, this is just I have already mentioned. Appointed, you make sure that you have a trustee appointed trust company who is willing to do the hibah, and then maybe you can engage there are lots of Islamic estate planner now. There are a lot of them, and you can also refer to the Islamic Financial Planner. They also have the knowledge in this. They cannot do just by doing illegal documents. No, nowadays hibah need to be proper. And then okay, this is the one of the things that you can actually to avoid potential disputes and legal challenges for Muslim family, because you know why? There are not so much of dispute on the distribution matter in estate planning for non-Muslim, but for Muslim there are there are still many, because they thought that when they die, the asset will actually automatic goes to Farah 8. Well, Farah 8 doesn't have legs to walk. They cannot walk. Somebody need to, somebody need to process and administer, and they need to, need to go to the court, to the next court, something like that. So you need to have a proper. Farah 8 is a law. It's not a human. It is not something that you take for granted. So make sure that you plan your estate very, very well nowadays, because I know most of you are the investor, a rich one maybe. You might have a 2 million and above of properties, movable or non-movable, but you just make sure that you can live the world peacefully, peacefully, rather than, unsheltered business in the world, and then you are not, you know what I mean. I'm not Ustazah, but you know what I mean for the Muslims. So we have to think about that too. Okay, I think this is my last slide, is it? Yes. So I wish that I want to have a look on the question. Do
Yep.
you have any?
Nurin, since that we are a bit ahead of time, are there any
Oh.
points that you briefly slide through just now that you wish to expand on?
Okay. I don't, but I want, because usually I know that there are more questions than facts, because I don't know what to expect from the audience. What are the things that you want to know more, and then what probably you want to know, you want to ask me about experience? I'm not sure. So I need questions. What is the
Sure.
difference between interest gain in conventional CDS account and interest gain? No, it's not. It is not the same. Interest gain is not interest gain for the Islamic CDS account. It's actually a profit gain. That is what that is what I know.
Okay, so that question was asked by Muhammad Faiz,
Yes,
right?
Safura, is it? Yes. Oh, no, it's not Safura.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Muhammad
I
Faiz.
have already, okay, which one?
So what is
Okay,
the difference
does
between interest gain
consanguine
and
mean?
conventional
Oh, that
account?
one is actually, consanguine mean is actually same father. I was like, years ago, I was like, oh, that's such a question. I mean, that's such a word. Consanguine is actually same father. Uterine is actually, I think, is actually a same mother. So when you have a same mother and same father, it's like a full brother and sister.
Or can you
Can
backtrack to the slide where you talk about sanguine so that we have a
okay, hold on.
clearer understanding? Yes.
Okay.
I
Let
think
me see.
that
I think that slide
flow
is
chart, right? Yeah, I
that
remember
one
that.
is chart.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think when you talk about the order of inheritance.
Is it this one?
I
Yeah,
think
betul.
so.
Kan, right?
Yes. So yeah, what is the difference between full siblings, consanguine and uterine?
Consanguine is the same father. Yeah,
Uterine is
same
same
father,
mother.
different mother.
So
Okay.
does consanguine rank higher than uterine, or it's the same? Same level.
But yes, they are same. It's not same level. It's a same option when they don't have the first, the primary and the substitute highest. They don't have this. I have a client who don't have the first and the second. They have only the third one. So they depends on the full sibling. Coincidentally, she or he has the full sibling. So so he or she distribute among the family, the sisters and brothers.
Would you want to backtrack one more slide to explain about the chart? I think just now you didn't manage to expand on that.
Which one? Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I think where there's estate planning. Yeah.
This one, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Any question? This one is actually the Faraid distribution, fixed and no compromise.
Fixed and non-compromise.
Yes, you cannot actually say unless let's say I have a children and I have a mother, I have a father, and I have one son. I have two sons, one daughter. So these are the distribution, right? Okay, let's say the husband. The husband. One third is for my husband. Of course, I'm a wife, so it's not included. So 1/6 is for my mother. Father is 1/6, and the son is residual. Is I have a son. But if I have a daughter, then the next slide. Son and daughter for this slide. For this box. Okay, for this box. Okay, so if these are the Faraid and no compromise, and it cannot be changed unless my mother said when she has a wanted, she said, or my father said, or both of them said, I don't want my part. I want my part to be given to my your children. I mean to my granddaughters, which is actually my children. Fair and square, which means no need to do the Faraid. I want to fair and square, like divide by 3. So that is actually how it goes. They need to be agreed by the Faraid beneficiaries. Then only it can be distributed other than Faraid portion.
Yeah, but so from this chart, it only shows the primary heirs. It does not show the substitute heirs, secondary heir, tertiary heirs, right?
That one will be a different session, because it will be another calculation.
Yeah, very complicated.
It's very complicated.
Do you memorize all these?
Yes, I memorize.
Wow.
It's not memorizing. It's actually, they have a method. We have a method. I think most of the viewers or the participants here, I think some of them are also expert in this. The only thing that they don't know how to, maybe they don't know the importance of doing it before they die. So to make it more proper, like say, the distribution part, whether to go to Amanah Raya, Pusaka Kecil, the small estate, or the High Court. I am actually waiting for one famous question, but it doesn't matter. Can the Hibah contested by the waris in court? Example, argument is made with the ill intention. Safura, I can ask you this. I can answer you this. This is very simple. Hibah cannot be contested. It is not under Faraid. When you do your asset, one of your asset, Hibah, it cannot be contested by other beneficiaries. Doesn't matter your children or your husband or whatever. But there's a but on that. Make sure that okay, let me share you the one that Hibah that was actually rejected by the High Court. When I saw, it was actually that was shared by a lawyer of mine. Not my lawyer, my friend who is a lawyer. Okay, his father is actually having one piece of I think one piece of land, and also a few one or two houses. The whole thing, he made a Hibah, and then he put only one name of his children. Okay, this is anonymously, so that means you don't know whoever. So the court reject because his father has only this asset, the one that he Hibah to one children. So they reject. It's not fair for your other children not getting any of your estate plan. So the court reject because the court will actually ask for the Mahkamah Syariah, the Syariah court, to get the Faraid cert. That one they will base on that. The civil court is not actually making just a blunt decision. They will actually refer to the Faraid cert. So they make sure that whether the other sibling is actually agree that this hibah is actually given to your one of your brothers, say, are you agree? And then the rest of the sibling is actually don't know about this, so they contest. So it can be contest. Hibah can be contest when the court see that these is not the things are not according to what he already what's supposed to be. Hibah cannot be contest like this. Okay, let's say you have 1, 2, 3 property, 3 property. You have three, you have 4. Okay, let's say you have, okay, like my case, I have actually I have a very complicated also case like this. Let's say you have a very few properties. You want to hibah one of your property to someone that nobody is actually related to, then can.
All right.
Okay.
Now that we understand.
I saw that
The
the
next,
stamping, is it? For hibah
yes.
should be contact to do hibah. CDS account, I think you need to contact your own investment bank. If I'm not mistaken, there are there are few trustee is already doing the Islamic hibah for CDS account. The one that I'm attached is you can actually contact me after this. But there are certain few companies are doing this. I cannot mention which trustees, but you can actually check your investment bank like Interpac, or you are doing like M Plus, right? M Plus CDS account. So you better check for that. You better check whether they can actually recommend or something like that. Okay.
Is it
As
only
we
for
know,
Islamic account, trading account, or conventional account can also do hibah?
Islamic account. If I'm
Only
not
Islamic
mistaken, it's
lah.
only for Islamic account. If you have a conventional, you have to talk to your investment bank. How you want to do hibah, something like that. Okay, for my case, I have a customer who is actually doing, he has a conventional CDS account. So I make it, because he has like 3 CDS account, 2 is Islamic and 1 is non-Islamic. So I said, okay, never mind. We put under one hibah, and then we check with the legal part. They said it can be done. So yeah, probably it can be done as long as it's actually legalized. Can hibah? Okay. Yes, Miss Go, Miss Yuan Mei, is it? Okay, Miss Go, is it? Yuan Mei, Go Mei. Yes, hibah can use to avoid minimize potential dispute among hires in very much helping. I tell you, this is actually because I have a customer who is actually the CDS account value is more than 1 million. So yes, to avoid dispute, need to do hibah. Okay, what is the role to concept wasiah play in Islamic estate planning? How does it relate to hibah? Oh, Miss Go, later we talk because I need to explain this further. Wasiah is actually a will. In the will, you actually appoint a administrator or executor who is going to manage your estate plan after you die, to make it more easier for easier flow for the beneficiaries. Is wasiah valid when the donor still alive? Yes, yes. Wasiah is valid while the donor is still alive, of course. Okay, wasiah is will, different things. The donor is for the hibah, so it can be done in the same time. I'm doing that also. Okay, as we know, estate planning, may I know estate planning is also affordable for anyone is lower income? Okay, yes, there are wasiah. It's not estate planning, it's called wasiah. For the one that I am my customer is actually having a more concern is actually the administrator or the executor of his estate plan. after he died. So he is just a lorry driver, but very future planner, or very I like the type of man he was, you know. He is a lorry driver, but he do the will because he's very concerned about the future of the child. So he said that I don't want to make you know, I don't want to have any problem with my wife and my children. So, and then I don't want them to go to process of you know, go to the court and then go back and then all the costs incurred. So he did. And then yes, the cost is quite competitive, not so mahal lah. It's not so expensive. Depends which trustee that you are doing. I saw what is the difference between interest gini. Someone is actually asking me about the hibah
Stamping, right? Let me
Yes.
pose the question to you.
Okay.
This
Let's say I
question is
want to
by
hibah.
Shaifu Baharin.
What is actually?
Do hibah documents require stamping? If yes, to be ad valorem. If not, how to ensure hibah documents are legally valid?
Okay. This is actually okay. Hibah is when you are doing hibah currently, while you are actually alive. Of course, you are doing hibah while you are alive. So there are actually a fee. Okay. Ad valorem, the stamping is a later part. When you die, they have to pay the stamping. But I might be wrong because late I think last year, I'm not sure about the latest news, but we have to check back. You have to check with your lawyers. They said that when you hibah to your immediate family, it doesn't matter Muslim or non-Muslim, you want to change name, you die and then you change to your immediate family, like your children and your wife. It actually the stamping is actually nominal, not ad valorem. But when other than that, ad valorem. I have done estate planning. Will my estate be frozen after my death? How like it? Okay, good. I like the question by Go. Okay, Go. If you do estate planning, okay, from my experience, when you do estate planning, for the cash part, of course, the insurance and takaful is among the fastest. When someone die, 1 or 2 months, they get the proceeds, right? So for cash, it doesn't matter, unit trust, KWSP, it takes about if you do estate planning, if you do a will, I'm saying if you do will, wasiah. If you do will, you can actually get that within 6 months. And for the fixed asset, you can actually settle that within 1 or 2 years. But if you don't have a will, my case was dragged to 1 year for the cash. That one is no dispute. No one is actually fighting. They just want to wait, and then all the faraid beneficiaries agree. It also takes about 1 year for the cash part, 6 to 1 year. For the fixed, it takes about 2 to 3 years, or 5 years. My auntie case, my late auntie case, drags is a fixed asset, dragged to 10 years. So,
yeah.
I'm not sure which.
So better do
which one? Where it is actually things go wrong. But maybe we during those time, I don't know how to do, and no one is actually advising anything. Yeah, at last it's settled. Let's say I want to do hibah my shares CDS account to my children, prefer to transfer the shares, but unfortunately my little spend ended even before my children reached the legal age for them. Okay, this is actually a good question. For your information, hibah CDS usually will manage by trust. trustee company. Will managed by trustee company. So the proceed, the shares will be given to the underage children after they're 18 years old. Unless you as a father doing a wasiat will and appoint the mother, your wife, to become the admin, the guardian of the property, then it's a different things. So you know, can non-Muslim, of course, PK, call me. Yes, can. I have a few friends actually doing that. They are very excel. They find it actually very interesting. Assuming I have done estate planning. Oh, I have done estate planning. Do I still need a quick? You done your estate planning in what sense? I'm not sure about this question. Because doing estate planning actually is doing your will. The proper one is start from the will. For non-Muslim, you need to do a will. Then only your asset is actually properly managed after that.
Okay, understand. So looks like we have addressed all questions on the Q&A panel now. So if you have more questions for our speaker, you may write them in the Q&A box. We still have some time to address the Q&A sessions. Okay, so let me read to you the next question by Saiful Baharin. I'm interested to know the estimated cost for Hibah on CDS accounts. Are there any breakdown of costs to be incurred? The rationale is to size up whether it is reasonable or not. What is your view?
Okay, CDS account Hibah is not the one that I did is not that costly. We don't actually refer to the value of your shares. We refer to the we just want to know what is actually account number. That's all. We don't actually value the Hibah price based on the value of the shares inside your CDS account. You have to know that. That is what I'm doing. But I'm not sure about others. But most of the trustee is actually doing the same thing. But you have to check which trustee that you are referring to. They are, because they have some regulation. Okay, I can mention a good trustee that actually doing a proper will for CDS account and something, will or Hibah. For non-Muslim, you can actually refer to the bank trustee. You can actually shop around, and then you can actually ask around. You can actually ask the Maybank trustee, CIMB trustee, public trustee. You can actually ask. But Rock Wills from non-Muslim, Rock Will is actually doing the proper holistic Islamic estate planning for non-Muslim. For Muslims, Rock Will, yes, it's a very big company, and they are very professional, I would say, because they are very quite famous in Singapore and Malaysia. And for Muslim, you can even Amanah Raya is also doing Hibah. They can but the cost you have to check with them. And then you need to know one thing that you need to know. Hibah, the fee of Hibah, when you are doing the Hibah, you need to know the fee. And also, if you die, the execution of the Hibah, how much your beneficiary need to fork out their money.
Okay.
That is one thing that you need to ask. Whoever trustee that you try to do, or you want to get the advice, then that is one thing. For Muslim trustee, we have Amanah Raya, Asalihin, Trustee Berhad, and also Wasiat Shop trustee.
All right.
So you can actually compare. Then the decision is yours.
Okay. There's a request for you to repeat slide from 23 to 25. Can you go through that again?
Okay.
Slide 23 to 25.
Which 23 to 25?
Yeah, now you're at slide 20.
20?
23 to 25. Yeah.
Okay, I cannot see the page here, sorry.
Okay, so next page.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, okay. One more page. Yeah, this is the page. This is 20,
Yeah.
this is 23. The request asks you to repeat this 23 to 25.
This is the process that you have to go through when we don't have wasiat. Even we have a wasiat, okay, let's say I go through, okay. Let's see, okay, what are the questions that pop into your mind now? Let's say, for me, I will ask, if I have a wasiat, if I don't have a wasiat, but I have a cash of 20,000, let's say 20,000 only in my bank account, and KWSP maybe 50,000 or whatever, ASB and so on, and the total of maybe 100,000, and then I have one house. Which regulator, which are the authorities that is going to handle my case? Usually people will actually, the first thing that when someone died, the beneficiary will go to Amanari. You perasan tak? Confirm. Those who don't know will definitely go to Amanari because they want to cash out some of the deceased money. Correct? Because it will, and then Amanah Raya will actually try to settle your cash part, and then but they will say that for your fixed asset you need to go to Pusaka Kecil if you want to settle by your own. But if you want to go through them, they will appoint a lawyer to process the whole thing, to value back the value of the property that was left by the deceased. Let's say, okay, that is one scenario. Another scenario is, okay, this is a very fresh case that I got last month. This person died without child, so the beneficiary is only the sister and the husband. And the property is not even up to 2 million, so it's still under small estate, and no will, and then so we have to, I advise them to go to the trustee, and yeah, the estimated of the case to be settled is within 6 to 1 year for the cash part. And the property will be settled out next year. But it won't involve high court because it's still under the estate kan. It's under 2 million properties. So yeah, there are a little bit of there are costs incurred that the beneficiary need to settle. Actually, when you do will, okay, this is what tips that I'm going to give you. When you do will, you can actually you appoint a trustee. You can ask the trustee to use your estate plan to settle the cost incurred for your property. So it actually minus out, and then it won't be a cost to your beneficiaries. You understand that? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. We mean they don't have to use their own money. We will, the trustee will actually deduct from the estate if you do will. It can be arranged.
All right, we want to talk about the next slide because the
okay. Oh, go. The one that the next slide, I think. This next slide.
Yeah, because I think the question was slide 23 to 25.
Okay, yeah. Let me share. Go.
Yeah.
These are the slide. These are the estate. These are the process,
process
that you
between
will
whether
go
you have a
through without
wasiat or not.
wasiat or will. Both non-Muslim or Muslim, if you don't have a will or wasiat that appoint a executor of a administrator, these are the process. But when you have a wasiat, a will, you can actually go through this process only. Okay, the difference is when you don't have a will, you have to get a letter of administration, which is called which we used to call LA. Okay, but if you have a will, you only be granted a probate. That's different. Probate, you don't need to go through the process.
Okay, how about so the point here is that, you know, we better do a will. So to make the process simpler and more efficient.
How?
Yeah, because it's quicker, right? You don't have to go through the multiple phases of the process to get your assets unfrozen.
Bro, the fairness in Islamic distribution is the fairness, actually the faraid is actually based on our principle, is actually fair, because they are reason for the faraid is actually being such a matter. The thing is Islam actually encourage the we to plan our estate. You need to, that's why if you have you are husband and wife, you do a matrimonial asset, one of the Islamic estate planning tool. You do your harta pencarian, so one of your property is actually for your wife, that your when under harta pencarian, your children cannot contest. They are, that's why I said for each element we have to go through one by one, and it takes time to explain actually the the consequences and how it happens and why you need to do. So actually for non-Muslim, they also have the matrimonial asset. That is what my friend told me. Is there notable legal or tax implication specific to Islamic individuals should be aware of? The legal or tax, tax is like normal tax, government tax, when you have to settle your property, change name, transfer name and everything. That was like a normal legal costs and also tax implication. The thing is, for the legal part, government tax we cannot escape, but for legal implication, legal costs, there are some standard percentage they are actually giving, standard percentage. So again, the customer need to, CDS account holders or whoever, our customer need to source, you need to shop around which trustee are going having, giving the best rate. I'm not going, I dare not say who charge what, I'm not sure, but that is the reality, because I have a customer also, the lawyer is charging them for the property total of 300,000, you see. I was like shocked. So this is very cost is actually very diversified. I'm not going to mention about cost, but in the specific section on the individual Islamic estate planning tools, we can actually discuss on this.
All right. So the next question is, after creating a wasiat, can it prevent creditors from pursuing debt from our descendants?
For the will, you need to settle the debt first. You minus out the properties. I mean the estate plan.
Okay.
I think most of the will need to settle the debt first. For Muslim Islamic for wasiah, yes, we need to settle the debt first, then only go the rest of the proceed to the beneficiaries.
All right. The next question is, can you provide an overview of the different types of hibah and the assets that are permitted for hibah in Islamic estate planning?
Just I think and the last slide. There are different types. There's I think most of the asset we can actually hibah. You can mention, okay, I will highlight what are the things that cannot be hibah. KWSP cannot hibah. Savings account cannot hibah. Pension, government pension cannot hibah. The rest of the things can hibah unless is halal, like say property, good business, not involved in gambling and non-halal food. That's all. Other things you can hibah, as long it's actually very, what we say, substantial. The things are very substantial. You can there are even gold you can actually hibah, but again, for gold bar you need to have a series. I mean the gold series numbers. You can actually those are the things that you can actually mention under hibah. I haven't seen any things that cannot be hibah. That is actually, unless that those are the one that I have already mentioned. KWSP, savings account. Oh yeah, Felda, tanah Felda. The Felda land cannot hibah because they have different act. Yeah. Pension, government pension pun cannot hibah.
Okay. Whether government pension or KWSP cannot be hibah.
Because that one is actually different act. They have a special act for that.
So they were distributed according to the nominees in the KWSP lah.
For Muslim, they need to do they need to follow faraid, or the agreement by the whole faraid beneficiaries.
Yeah. The next question is, why KWSP and saving account cannot be hibah?
That one is that one is actually given by the KWSP. We cannot argue because these are we have to remember that we are bound to two rules. That one is actually our country rule, and another one is under Islamic rule. So these are because pension savings is cannot be hibah, because you know why? Savings you are actually using the money and that one is actually under you have to there are different act. We have a different act. And another one is actually you can actually check IFSA Islamic Financial Islamic Financial Act 2013. Those are quite detailed on this.
Yeah, the follow-up question by Mio is that KWSP requests us to appoint beneficiary. Isn't that hibah?
No, that one is nominees. You can actually put the nominees. That one are nominees. So you have to know, you have to understand. Nominees are penama. Penama is the person who is actually the person who has to manage the KWSP according to faraid. They are actually like a little administrator for that account, KWSP account. Because for the KWSP is a very, that one is clear because I have a customer wanted to do Hibah, but it is not possible to do. Because I know, because the KWSP, most of us KWSP have quite some of money, so they are very concerned about that. And then, so I said, you need to put beneficiary, then make sure that your, the nominee, so to make sure that the nominees is actually having that, you know, you the trusted one who can actually manage the KWSP. But actually, I have a different advice for that. So it will be different approach of advising, because it will be based on case-to-case base. So that is why different people have different reason. So I need to, and it is very sensitive. So I need to know why, why you want to have that KWSP to be to who, something like that. So that's the way to do it actually.
Okay.
The asset entirely frozen, is there any?
In regards to this slide where the whether the asset is entirely frozen, is there any allocation for the immediate family member, especially housewife or children, to use for their survival while the pending assets to be fully freed? Are there any
No.
alternative way to cater to the difficult time for the family
No,
members?
unless the deceased has a too bad. No. I also, because I have already I've gone through this process many times, so I know the struggles. I know that is why the best thing is actually some people have their spouse ATM numbers, and they just cash out the money through the ATM without telling the bank that the spouse is actually died or something like that. But the thing is, you have to know, I was ex-banker. When I saw the amount of withdrawal, reoccurring, the maximum every day, the banks is actually triggered by this, and then they suddenly they froze, and then they check to JPN, and then they check, the disease, the person is actually died. So maybe dia punya, I know the wife or the children is actually cashing out the money from the ATM. So
will they ask the money
I
back?
cannot advise, but yes, no asset is actually liquidate once people don't know, one is deceased. The automatic froze when you told the bank or JPN. I don't know how to nowadays very, very fast they trace. When the person die, they had a very quick trace, the bank, everything knows. Top froze. Wow. Those days I was in a bank, like 10-20 years ago. We cannot trace the person is actually is dead or what, until the beneficiary is actually cashing out money from the ATM, like a maximum for that day. So we trigger, the bank triggered from there. But now I'm not sure, maybe they are auto. This one I need to, maybe we need to check with the bank and also JPN.
Will the bank ask
trace,
for the money back because they deem it as unlawful?
What?
I mean, if you find out that the deceased family members are withdrawing the money from the savings account with the deceased PIN number, is it legal, or can the bank ask the money back if they found out that
the bank? Usually the bank is actually, the bank don't ask. The bank don't ask, but when they want to settle the matters in court or whatever, basically at last the beneficiary will tell that they have already withdrawn some money from the ATM or take the money from the wallet or whatever. Yeah, that one is I would say not legal, but it's actually done by everyone.
Okay. So let's do one last question by Ahmad
Uh,
Johari. Is there
uh,
a scale of lawyer fees for Muslim asset
yes,
administered by a
yes,
Sharia lawyer?
yes. Okay. Okay,
There is
I
it.
can tell you. Uh, I was told by well, I was told, and also I have already faced. Maximum they can charge 5%, but for trustee they charge you much lower. Trustee company.
Okay, understand. So well, we have come to the end of this session. So thank you so much, Nurin Hamid, for sharing with us Islamic asset planning and the Hibah concept to a CDS account. I hope that all of you here have learned a great deal today about the various tools that are under Islamic asset planning and about Hibah to the CDS account holders. All right, thank you so much, Nurin.
Okay, thank you, everyone.